News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Mississippi is now reporting its first COVID-19 death. The Mississippi State Department of Health says a man between 60 and 65 years of age from Hancock County, which is on the coast, died in a Louisiana hospital. He did have a chronic underlying condition. There are now 50 cases of COVID-19 in Mississippi, including one in Winston County. Monroe and Winston counties are the only two counties in the WCBI News viewing area reporting a case of COVID-19. Health officials urge anyone that feels sick to stay home. If you believe you may have been exposed to the virus, call your health care provider to set up a time to be tested. That case of coronavirus in Winston County has some in the area concerned, but emergency management officials say they're prepared with plans in place to respond. Our Quentin Smith is in Louisville with the very latest. Quentin?
Yeah, Joey, I'll tell you, it did not take long for word to spread around Winston County that someone tested positive for the coronavirus. At this time, that person's name is not being released, but we do know they're in non-critical condition and they're at home recovering. Everyone that person has come in contact with over these past 2 weeks is also being quarantined at this time. Now, in the wake of this positive case, city leaders, county leaders, and the Winston County Medical Center have all come together to form what they're calling the pandemic team. They've activated a plan where every day leaders from each entity will have a teleconference call to help them track and stay updated on what's going on surrounding COVID, as well as ways to prevent it from spreading here in Winston County. EMA Director Buddy King says one critical element in the plan is for residents to isolate themselves and practice social distancing if possible. King says this is their way of being proactive and, again, trying to prevent that fatal virus from spreading here in Winston County. We will hear more from members of this team and have more about this plan coming up later tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. But for now, reporting live in Winston County, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
Oxford Mayor Robin Tannehill says COVID-19 is in her community. She, along with two medical professionals, made the announcement today and gave information to help prevent the spread of the virus.
Baptist Memorial Hospital and the Mississippi Department of Health announced the first positive case of COVID-19 in Lafayette County this morning, bringing the total cases in Mississippi to over 50. While today is the first time that we can positively confirm the coronavirus in our community, we have known this day was coming and we have prepared for it for weeks.
The State Department of Health has not updated its numbers to reflect a COVID-19 case in Lafayette County. Meanwhile, Governor Tate Reeves signs an executive order closing schools until April 17th. Reeves made the announcement this morning on Facebook Live. He encouraged everyone to stay at home during this time, but continue to learn. Educators are providing distance learning opportunities and sending supplies to students. School districts will continue to receive state funding and teachers will continue to be paid. Reeves also relaxed state testing requirements. Each school district is providing learning materials and many are also providing meals. Reeves also asked residents to stay away from hospitals unless they need urgent help. Now, sweeping changes for how people live and where they go in Alabama. The statewide health order closes all preschools and child care centers. Governor Kay Ivey is asking some state agencies to explore emergency rules to make critical exemptions to allow daycares to be open to provide for first responders, critical healthcare workers, and state government employees. Restaurants and bars cannot serve food or drink on site. All gatherings of 25 people or more or any gatherings that cannot maintain a 6-foot distance are banned. Public and private beaches on Alabama's Gulf Coast are closed. Visitors are banned from all hospitals and nursing homes with some compassionate care exemptions. Elective dental and medical procedures are now delayed. This order is in effect until April 5th. New at 6, response to the COVID-19 outbreak continues to expand. The University of Mississippi Medical Center is setting up tents and a mobile unit at the Mississippi Fairgrounds in Jackson. UMMC has not released exactly what will happen at the location. The state health department, MEMA, Department of Public Safety, and the Department of Agriculture and Commerce, along with state transportation officials, are assisting in the setup. More information will be released soon. The coronavirus is having a big impact on our daily lives, but it will also be affecting people's final plans. Funeral homes are now facing a tough decision, limiting the number of people allowed at services. Our Bobby Martinez spoke to funeral directors to find out how they're helping families through this hard time. He joins us now live in the studio with more. Bobby.
Joey, we've reported how the coronavirus has impacted restaurants, schools, and even sports, to name a few. But what about funeral homes? I spoke with 2 funeral home directors who say these last few weeks have been very difficult for various reasons.
This is a very sensitive, very difficult situation.
The loss of a loved one is usually a time for family and friends to come together and comfort one another, celebrate a life, and remember the good times. But the coronavirus is changing how those celebrations of life will look.
We are limiting to 50 at this time. You know, the CDC said 50. I believe the numbers have been anywhere from 50 to 10, but we're going to be limiting to 50.
Vernon West says limiting loved ones inside the funeral home is really hard for him because people are already in pain. He is hoping the state of Mississippi can step in and address the issue.
We are really trying to get direction from the state in regards to how can we handle this issue. We have families coming from all over the United States to this facility and to our churches.
Caleb Pounders with Lowndes Funeral Home says some families have been very understanding.
They realize that now people travel so much. Other people are going to come from other states. They're going to come in to visit with them, and that's how things get transmitted.
Pounders says the main concern is making sure everyone remains safe when visiting the funeral home.
In the funeral business, you always want to be able to provide the person, the general public, the friends to be able to come and say bye and offer their condolences. But at the same time, you know, you have to look at the general public and their, you know, how they could be infected and try to cut down on that.
Funeral homes are also streaming services online to anyone outside immediate family. Joey, back to you.
We've had a couple of heavy downpours in some spots across the area today, but we've also had some cloud cover that has since started to dwindle out just a little bit, resulting in a little bit of sunshine for some of us as the sun begins to set. That also means our temperatures have warmed up. We're 83 right now in Columbus, 81 in Tupelo, 82 over in Eupora, and we're 80 right now over in Pickens County in Aliceville, Alabama. Now, over the next few days, we're going to be tracking a round of showers and storms through the day tomorrow. That's going to leave us for a decent Saturday after a few morning showers. More rain for Sunday, though, and more rain into next week. I'll break down the timing for that full forecast, and of course, I'll have a look at that WCBI 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit. Joey.
An inmate serving time for assault charges out of Winston County dies this morning. 61-year-old Lamar Kitchens died at the hospital at Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman. Kitchens was serving a 30 years for 2 counts of aggravated assault. He was sentenced in November 2008. Foul play is not suspected in his death. An autopsy will be done to determine the official cause. A Manatee man pleads guilty to a Clay County double homicide. Shundre Johnson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder in Clay County Circuit Court. He was sentenced to life. Johnson's first murder trial back in December ended in a mistrial. Kentario Board and Kenya Campbell were found shot multiple times on Dixie Road in March 2017. Now, the murder trial started earlier this week despite concerns about the coronavirus. Jurors were screened before arriving for jury duty. Tabaris Coffey of Calhoun City is also charged in this case. A lawsuit to stop the administrative consolidation of schools in Montgomery County is dismissed. 7 people filed the lawsuit. It was dismissed in a lower court. Now, the U.S. 5th Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans has upheld that dismissal. Residents claim that the administrative consolidation and restructuring of the school board violated their right to equal protection. Lawmakers approved the consolidation efforts in 2016. The recent court ruling means things continue as normal in the school district. The coronavirus is closing schools. It's also affecting after-school plans. We find out more when we come back.
In WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
The coronavirus has closed schools and a popular after-school gathering spot. Programs have halted at all 5 of the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Mississippi. The decision was made to help halt the spread of the coronavirus. About 400 young people go to the clubs after school. However, the decision was made for the safety of the kids, staff members at the clubs.
It's really a tough decision for us because we're talking about health safety for our club members, our parents, our staff, and all that are involved in it. Then you look at the other side of it, safety for our club members to have a place to go every day after school and not be at home, as they say, latchkey kids.
Now, the temporary shutdown impacts clubs in Tupelo, New Albany, Ripley, and Oxford. Long says clubs will open when schools are back in session. And school is out, and it was actually a nice day to be outside.
Yeah, a nice day to get out of the house and get some fresh air for once.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not going to be one of those days, unfortunately. Tomorrow is a day you're going to need some indoor activities. Rain and storms through the day. No severe weather expected. That's the good news. Saturday, maybe some morning showers. I think Saturday afternoon is going to be really nice. You'll want to get some outdoor activities in ahead of Sunday because we've got even more rain on the way. I've got to look at your full First Alert forecast coming up right after this. Stay with us.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Not too many cars out there right now in Starkville on the MDOT camera. This is Highway 12 right there at Blackjack and Spring Street. There is a little bit of traffic out there, but certainly not as much as we usually see this time of the evening. If you're planning any outdoor activities, we've got some nice weather for it, but it is warm out there. 81 there in Starkville. We're 81 as well here at the Air Force Base, 80 in West Point. Everybody just about staying in those low 80s. Our warmest day of the year so far. Some of us are a little bit cooler thanks to some rain showers that popped up. We had one go right through Aliceville and Pickens County earlier. We also had some showers up to the north in Tupelo and along I-22 earlier this afternoon. But generally, most of us have stayed dry. Some of us are even seeing a little bit of sunshine out there right now. So get out and enjoy it. Get out and maybe do a walk around the lake or something like that to enjoy this weather, because we do have another storm system that is approaching the area overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. We've got tornado watches posted for much of Arkansas. Looks like we've got an active tornado warning there in Arkansas as well. Fortunately, though, not really expecting any type of that weather in our area. Here's a time lapse from Tupelo. You saw just one little dash of rain on the lens. Generally, Tupelo also stayed dry, picking up just about 1/100 of an inch of rainfall. And the lack of rainfall helped us to warm up. 82 for the high here in Columbus, 81 in Aberdeen, 81 there in Tupelo as well. Generally right there around 80 to the low 80s. Keep in mind our average for this time of year, 67 degrees. So much warmer than average, and it's certainly starting to feel like spring out there. And just in time, because spring actually begins tonight at 10:49 p.m. and will last through July when summer, or June I should say, when summer picks up. So overnight tonight, 67 for the low. Temperatures don't really fall much of anywhere. Certainly a mild night with showers building in after midnight. I think we'll be dry at least until midnight. Here's a look at that on the Futurecast model. You can see temperatures really don't fall much. As I mentioned, by 2 a.m. we start to see some shower activity pick up, and that's going to continue into the morning. Notice by 9 a.m., by the time most of you are getting out of the house, we've got some showers and storms lining up, and that continues through the day tomorrow as well. Anytime from lunchtime on into the evening, our best chance for some showers and storms. Winds gusty as well, up to 25 miles an hour at times. Now, as I mentioned, not really expecting much in the way of severe weather. We do have a level 1 risk, but generally that's just for some gusty winds. Not expecting any major severe weather out of this system. Saturday afternoon looking nice after some morning showers. We've got some rain on Sunday as well, off and on showers through next week. Temperatures climbing into the 80s by next Thursday.
Tyson Carter may have taken his last jump shot in Starkville, but the Carter name will be forever a part of Bulldogs basketball. We sit down with the Carter family next in sports.
Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The NCAA tournament was supposed to start today. With the abrupt end to college basketball in 2020, we'll never know if Mississippi State would have made a run and got to the big dance. Starkville native Tyson Carter has taken his final shot inside Humphrey Coliseum, but it won't be his last. WCBI Sports' Chris Bolton sat down with Tyson and joins us now live in the studio with more. Chris?
Tom, Tyson Carter and MSU had high hopes of advancing in the SEC tournament and earning a bid to the NCAA. But before Carter could step foot on the court at Bridgestone Arena, the tournament was canceled, subsequently ending Carter's career as a Bulldog. With the season coming to a sudden close, I was able to sit down with Tyson and his father Greg to reflect on his final game at the Hump, which also happened to be senior night.
Before the game, it was, special, the ceremony, senior night and stuff, but I didn't really get too emotional because I was really focused on the game because I knew that I had wanted to get some revenge against them that had beat us the first time.
Talk about that moment right before you came out in the second half when you kissed the floor and stuff. Was that something spurred the moment? Did you already have that, pre-planned coming to the game?
I kind of planned it in the week, like that week headed to the game. I was like, I kind of want to do something that I always remember, since my last time being in the Hump, just kind of tribute to what Mississippi State means to me. They'll always hold a place in my heart, So I just want to do something special.
Looking back now, does that game mean even more to you that it quite possibly is your very last game as a college basketball player?
It does mean a lot to me because, most seasons end in a loss when you go to postseason play and you got to be eliminated from a tournament. This season was kind of unique because this season ended with a win and a big win against our arch rival. So I think that's kind of how I've been looking at it. This season ended on a good note.
Just talk about the lead up to finding out that you guys weren't going to play Friday and stuff. Just the build up and what you were feeling when you found that out.
I was kind of prepared that it was going to happen. I had been following all the stuff that was going on with the NBA, and then the next day I saw a couple conference tournaments, different conferences across the country was canceling their tournaments, and I was just thinking like, dang, it's probably a matter of time for they cancel ours, and sure enough, they canceled ours.
And for you, Greg, were you planning on going to Nashville?
But I had already packed. And it was probably 15, 20 minutes from getting in the car, taking off, when I found out that they had canceled the tournament. And even seeing it on TV, I'm still like, they didn't really just cancel the tournament. I ended up texting one of the coaches to find out just to make sure. It was really disappointing that they canceled the tournament because, my thing was we could win 2 games and make the NCAA tournament. And, they canceled an SEC tournament, they're taking that away from us. And then later on to find out that they canceled the NCAA tournament, that kind of helped a little bit, but, it still stung.
Have you come to terms with possibly knowing that you might have missed, Tyson's last game in college basketball?
Yeah, I came to terms with that before the game. I knew what I had to do, and he understood what I had to do. I still felt like I was there for the senior night because I was on the phone FaceTiming with one of his friends, and he was down on the sideline, so I had a close-up view of it. And it was fun to watch. Even though I wasn't there, being on FaceTime, seeing it live like I did, it was still nice. It was still nice.
Have you kind of sat back and just thought about everything like, this is pretty much over?
Yeah, I haven't really put too much thought in it yet because kind of like, after my last game in the Hump, that kind of set in. But I still was planning on, accomplishing more things, So it kind of hasn't set in that it's over, really, because, it kind of ended abruptly. What
is next for you? What do you want to go on, continue to do?
I definitely want to continue playing basketball. That's why this time is pretty rough because, all I ever know is basketball. But you just kind of got to just sit and wait and see what happens. Don't have basketball right now, so I just got to just.
We'll have more from the only father-son duo in SEC history with 1,000 career points each coming up tomorrow.
And you said Tyson's looking to get into coaching possibly after this.
I think he'll be pretty good at it.
I think so too. Thanks, Chris. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. Our Scott Martin is on patrol again for good news across North Mississippi and West Alabama. And now he joins us live in the studio with today's good news report. Scott, what you got?
Yeah, Joey, during the coronavirus outbreak, we're seeing the community starting to unite. Take a look at this here. Look what's happening at Guntown Middle School. Teachers and parents, they got together to pack up food and different hygiene items. parents, they just drive by, pick them up, and then go on with their day. Now, since schools are closed until January 17th, educators are still working to make sure that students get fed. Now, the food and the supplies there in Guntown, they were donated by people within that community. And a local church is working to help out those in the healthcare field. Live Church is working to make survival kits for those in the medical field. Now, the kits include different candy and little supplies, and they each have a significant meaning. For example, the first one, a lifesaver, that's just to remind them of the many times that they've saved a life. It's something just small that makes a big difference. Joey, back to you.
No doubt it does. All right. Thank you, Scott, and thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.